Hi, I'm Chef Scott, and today we're going to make what I think is the ultimate dish to share with those who you love and care about, and that's soup. Great winter item, great summer item, any time of the year. Kind of takes me back and makes me think about, we have a tradition in our house. Christmas Eve, my wife makes a crab and corn chowder that's amazingly delicious, but I think it's as much about the sharing and about the community that it evokes as it is about the deliciousness of the dish. The other great thing about soup is you can move vegetables, you can move ingredients in and out. We'll kind of talk you through a lot of what we have here. Today we're going to make an Italian vegetable with cannellini bean soup, and a lot of these ingredients that you see here can be moved in and out or substituted, doubled, halved, whatever you'd like to do. But generally most soups start with what's called a mirepoix, which would be onions, celery, and carrots. And generally the proportions are 2 parts of onion to 1 part of celery and 1 part of carrots. This soup we're going to flavor with another kind of funky vegetable, and that's fennel. And you might recognize fennel from the flavor, that licoricey flavor. Usually it comes in Italian sausage or spaghetti sauce, and it's most commonly found in the form of the seed. Well, this is what it looks like in the bulb. And it can be kind of an intimidating little beast to deal with, so we'll kind of show you what to do here. So the leaves and the stems are usually used for, the stems would be used for a vegetable stock or something like that, and the leaves can be pulled to be put into salad for a little bit of fennel flavor. But in this case, we're just going to cut those right off. We're going to put them off to the side. We're going to take this bulb, and what I'll do is I'll cut that little root bottom off here. And in order to cut this, the easiest thing to do is to cut it like an onion once you've removed those leaves and the stems. So you cut it right in half like that. We're going to put it down on our cutting board. We'll cut across once, we'll cut across again, and then we'll cut down just like you do with an onion. And then again right across here. And you end up with nicely diced fennel. It has such a great licoricey smell to it and a great flavor, and it really mutes down when you saute. So let me kind of take you through a little bit of how we're going to do this. We're going to saute all of our ingredients here, our onions, our celery, our carrots, with our fennel. We're going to saute it just a few minutes, just until the onions are translucent, and then we're going to add our tomatoes. I have fresh tomatoes here, but you can easily use diced canned tomatoes, it's fine. And we're going to continue to saute that for about 5 minutes. So it takes about 5 minutes to saute these ingredients, 5 minutes to saute the tomatoes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add our zucchini and we're going to add our yellow squash. All right, we're going to saute those ingredients then for another 5 minutes. So you've got a total of about 15 minutes of saute. And what your vegetables are going to look like are this. You're going to see when you get down in the bottom of the pot there that you have a little bit of browning on the bottom of the pot. That's primarily from the tomatoes. That's good. That caramelization adds layers of flavor, and we're not going to add a lot of fat. We're not going to add too much salt to this. So as a result, we want to make sure we have all those nice layers of flavor. And we don't cook the squash that long because we don't want to overcook it as the soup continues to simmer. All right, from there, we're going to use as our medium vegetable stock. The vegetable stock can easily be substituted for water, for chicken stock, but vegetable stock and chicken stock generally give you that umami, those layers of flavor, that rich flavor that you want as you want to develop all of that as the soup simmers. So we're going to add vegetable stock, and then we're going to add to that move this off to the side here. We're going to add to that some herbs. In this case, we're going to add fresh oregano and fresh thyme. If you don't have fresh, the general rule of thumb is if you're going to substitute dry in for fresh, about 1/3. So this recipe just calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of these anyway. So it would be a pinch of dry oregano and a pinch of dry thyme. So I happen to have fresh. You can certainly grow herbs in pots most of the year indoors, and thyme is something that's pretty prolific, as is oregano. Keep it in a nice sunny spot. Just going to chop it a little bit and add that into our ingredients. All right, so there it is. Again, really nice, rich aromas. Along with that, we're going to add our parsley, and we're going to add a couple of bay leaves. So we'll add all that in there. So this, all of our ingredients now will simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes or so, which we have going here. And at the very end, what we're going to do is we're going to add our cannellini beans. Canned is the easiest. You can use dry if you want to. You'll have to pre-cook them and add them into this soup. You don't want to add them in dry. We're going to add spinach. We call to chiffonade the spinach, and chiffonade just means to julienne it. So we're going to take our pile of spinach there, kind of pull it together as best we can, and then just chop across the leaves, just so they're broken up. To put the whole leaf in would be fine, but it kind of tends to get a little bit messy as the eater. And once we have that chiffonaded, add that back into here, and then we're going to go right into our soup, which we've had simmering for about 30 minutes. So we're going to add in our spinach, our cannellini beans, which are drained and rinsed. Look for the ones that don't have a lot of salt. We want to add our own salt to that. We'll just stir that around. We allow that to come back to a simmer. It just takes a couple of minutes. And then we're going to season with the following items. A little bit of salt and pepper, about 3/4 of a teaspoon or so of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon pepper. Parmesan cheese, this is easily left out or easily garnished on the final dish if you want to do that. I like that, but again, because it builds the layers of flavor. That Parmesan has that umami factor. And then I add a little bit of red wine vinegar, or you can add lemon juice if you'd like to as well. Again, we're balancing the flavors. Sweet, sour, bitter, salty. We get the sweet from the caramelization of the vegetables. We get the sour from the vinegar, the bitter, a little bit of bitter flavor from the spinach and some of the other ingredients, and then salty just means that it's properly seasoned. All right, so we've let this cook just for a couple of minutes, and it's really ready. It's such a rich, hearty dish, and really start to finish about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less even. And right into our dish here. And you can really see how rich and hearty that is. Great to share. It freezes easily, so you can make a double batch of it, freeze it. But I think on a cool winter night, it's perfect to eat as it is. I'm Chef Scott. Thanks for tuning in.